The old stone orphanage stood on a hill overlooking Gatineau. Its weathered facade, marked by years of neglect, seemed to tell a story of sorrow and abandonment. The building, shrouded in mist, had an eerie presence that sent chills down the spine of anyone who dared to look upon it. A brooding presence. Locals whispered of children crying at night, their voices echoing through the fog. The orphanage, once a place of refuge, had become a symbol of fear and mystery. The townsfolk spoke in hushed tones about the strange occurrences that seemed to plague the old building. Their tiny voices carried on the wind, a haunting melody that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. The sound of an empty swing set creaking in the wind added to the eerie atmosphere. No one dared to go near, especially after dark, when the whispers grew louder and more insistent. Built in 1902, the orphanage housed countless orphans over the years. The walls were lined with old photographs capturing the faces of children who once called this place home. Each photograph seemed to hold a story, a glimpse into the lives of those who had lived and in many cases, died within these walls. Many died young. Influenza, they said. The epidemic swept through the orphanage, claiming the lives of many innocent children. The old medical ward with its vintage hospital beds stood as a grim reminder of the tragedy that had befallen the orphanage. Historical records detailed the devastating impact of the epidemic, but some believed there was more to the story. But whispers hinted at something darker. Shadows seemed to move on their own, and strange inexplicable noises echoed through the empty corridors. Some claimed to have seen a shadowy figure lurking in the darkness, a presence that filled them with an overwhelming sense of dread. Something sinister lingered within those walls. The orphanage, with its dark history and eerie atmosphere, had become a place of legend. Stories of hauntings and supernatural occurrences were passed down through generations, each tale more chilling than the last. The whispers of the past continued to echo, a reminder of the secrets that the old stone building still held. Marie-Louise was a young nun, new to the orphanage. She believed in God, in goodness. But the orphanage tested her faith. She saw things, heard things, unexplained. One night she saw a face peering through the window. A child's face, pale and gaunt. When she rushed outside, there was no one there. Only the wind howling through the trees. Marie-Louise had always been a devout believer, her faith unwavering. She had joined the convent with a heart full of hope and a desire to serve. The orphanage, nestled on the outskirts of a small village, seemed like the perfect place to fulfill her calling. The children, though many were orphaned by tragic circumstances, brought a sense of purpose to her life. She spent her days teaching them, caring for them, and praying for their well-being. However, as the days turned into weeks, Marie-Louise began to notice strange occurrences. At first it was just a feeling, a chill in the air, a sense of being watched. She dismissed it as her imagination, a byproduct of the old, creaky building. But soon, the feelings turned into sightings, shadows that moved on their own, whispers that seemed to come from nowhere. The other nuns assured her it was nothing, perhaps just the wind or the settling of the old structure. But Marie-Louise couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. One particularly cold and windy night, as she was making her rounds, she saw it. A face peering through the window of the children's dormitory. It was a child's face, but unlike any she had seen before. Pale, almost translucent, with eyes that seemed to bore into her soul. She froze, her heart pounding in her chest. Gathering her courage, she rushed outside, determined to find the child and bring them to safety. But when she got outside, there was no one there. The yard was empty, the only sound the howling wind rustling through the trees. She searched the grounds, calling out, but there was no response. The face had vanished as quickly as it had appeared. Marie-Louise returned inside, her mind racing. Who was the child? Why were they outside in the cold, and why did they disappear? The experience left her shaken, her faith tested in ways she had never imagined. She continued her duties, but the memory of that face haunted her. She prayed for guidance, for understanding, but the answers eluded her. The orphanage, once a place of hope and purpose, had become a place of mystery and fear. and Marie-Louise couldn't help but wonder if she would ever find the answers she so desperately sought. Sophie was 6, big brown eyes, a shy smile. She never spoke, not a word. One afternoon Sophie vanished, disappeared without a trace. The nuns searched everywhere, every nook and cranny. Sophie was gone, vanished into thin air. Sophie's mother, Celine, was devastated. She clung to the hope that her daughter was alive, that someone had taken her, anything but the truth. "I just want my little girl back," she cried. Her voice echoed through the empty halls of the orphanage, a chilling reminder of her loss. Section 5. The Search Party. Days turned into weeks. The police searched the woods, the river, nothing. Sophie was gone. The mystery deepened. Locals whispered about the old well, long since boarded up. They said it was cursed, that it was hungry, but no one dared to go near. Section 6. A grisly discovery. One day, a group of children playing in the woods stumbled upon something. Hidden beneath a pile of leaves, a child's shoe. Sophie's shoe. Panic. Terror. The police were called, they searched the area. And then they found her. Sophie. Her lifeless body lying at the bottom of the well. The day had started like any other, with the sun shining brightly and the children laughing as they played hide and seek in the dense forest. The woods, usually a place of adventure and joy, quickly turned into a scene of horror. As the children ventured deeper into the forest, their laughter echoed through the trees, masking the impending doom that awaited them. It was young Tommy who first noticed the shoe. He called out to his friends, his voice trembling with a mix of curiosity and fear. The group gathered around, their eyes wide with shock as they recognized the shoe. It belonged to Sophie, a girl from their neighborhood who had been missing for days. The realization hit them like a ton of bricks, and a wave of panic swept through the group. They ran back to the village, their hearts pounding in their chests, and alerted the adults. The police were summoned immediately, and a search party was quickly organized. The forest, once a playground, was now a crime scene. Officers combed through the area, their faces grim as they searched for any sign of Sophie. Hours passed and the tension grew thicker. Just when it seemed like all hope was lost, an officer's shout broke the silence. They had found something. The group rushed to the scene, their worst fears confirmed. There, at the bottom of an old, abandoned well, lay Sophie. Her lifeless body was a stark contrast to the vibrant girl they had known. The discovery sent shockwaves through the community. Parents held their children a little tighter that night, and the once lively forest was now a place of sorrow and loss. The memory of Sophie and the tragic events of that day would haunt them forever. Section 7. The Unsolved Mystery. The town was in shock, grief mixed with anger. Who could have done this? The police investigated, but there were no leads, no suspects, no answers. The case went cold. The mystery remained. Sophie's death haunted the orphanage, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurked within its walls. Section 8. The haunting continues. Years passed. The orphanage closed down, left abandoned. But the stories continued. People claimed to see Sophie's ghost, wandering the halls, calling for her mother. Some heard her laughter echoing through the empty rooms, a chilling reminder that some secrets refused to stay buried. Section 9. Conclusion. A legacy of fear. The Gatineau orphanage stands today, a crumbling reminder of a tragic past, a place where innocence was lost, and where the truth remains elusive. The mystery of Sophie's death continues to haunt the town, a chilling reminder that some wounds never truly heal.